When we study lean from a 20,000-foot view, one of the primary principles that you often hear about in terms of justification, if you will, of lean thinking, it's all about eliminating waste. Waste from overproduction, waste of waiting time, transportation waste, inventory waste, like having too much inventory, for example, processing waste, waste of motion, waste from product defects. Some would even argue that there's number 8, waste in product design. And so while all those are very important, and these are the ones that are most often talked about, we need to open the hood and look a little bit closer to really understand lean and lean thinking. So elimination of waste is an important process in lean thinking, but there's also other things to look at too. There's the process of understanding the value chain and adding value, if you will, back in from suppliers. So elimination of waste and value chain are all part of the process part of lean thinking. But also there's purpose. What do we do with this lean thinking? Well, you have things like, you want to shrink up your inventories. You want to only produce what the customer is going to pay for. That's in customer value. And you only want the inventory that you need when you need it and in the size or in the amount that you need it in. So all those, again, are very important. Just like the common view that lean thinking is all about elimination and waste. But process and purpose are not the most important. And when we reflect on lean, we need to see it much more than the process and the purpose that we've been talking about. Remember, the most common view of justifying lean is to eliminate waste. And it's important, but it's not the most important. People are the most important. The proper view of lean thinking focuses on respecting people. Remembering, for example, that when we employ people, it ought to be with permanency in mind, to have them there for a lifetime. That no matter what the economic conditions, we want to always try to maintain the same level payroll so that we're not jerking people's lives around as the economy goes up and goes down. We always want to be about working in unity with employee unions and those third parties that represent our employees. Bonuses, listen, they need to be shared with all employees, not just the top level executives. Again, we're talking about respect for people. And in lean thinking, workers are assets. They're just not commodities that you can take off a shelf and put back on a shelf when you need them. Now, in support of this notion that people are the most important, that they're actually more important than the process and the purpose of lean, and when you're thinking about lean in your manufacturing plant, in support of this, I found an audio clip that I want to play for you. Now, this clip is from NPR's it's a show that's called This American Life by Ira Glass. Some of you may have listened to Ira before. This is from July 2015. It's a short clip, but here's the setup for it. Now, Ira Glass is talking to some people involved with the NUMMI auto plant in Fremont, California. NUMMI, it's closed now, but NUMMI was a joint venture between GM and Toyota. The plant was among the first major auto plants to embrace lean manufacturing in their plant in the U.S. So previous to this joint venture, the Fremont plant was a GM plant struggling with quality, union, and management relationships were terrible. The plant culture was unimaginable. Drugs, alcohol, even prostitution all occurred during working hours between employees as cars were built. The plant was unsafe. It was unkept. It was one of GM's worst performing plants. After the joint venture and implementation of lean manufacturing, also known as the Toyota production system, in case you've heard of it that way, the culture changed. Quality improved. The plant became a top producer of quality cars. Now, you can listen to the whole thing if you want. You can look it up on This American Life. It's about an hour or so long. But I pulled out a clip so you could hear the voices and the feelings of two assembly line workers who were impacted by the changes created by lean manufacturing and the implementation of lean thinking at the NUMMI plant. Remember, the most important impact of lean thinking is the effect it has on the workers' lives. It's the impact on people's lives. You're going to hear two people. The first one is a guy named Rick Madrid. Rick's a retired assembly line worker. He retired from NUMMI. The place changed with lean manufacturing. It changed him. Listen to the change in his life. It was profound and even noticeable by his family. After that, there's another line worker called Billy Haggerty. Listen for the pride in his voice and the workmanship that he recognizes years later. Here it comes.
I'm so fortunate that I ended my career in the auto industry at NUMMI.
Rick Madrid retired from the assembly line in 1992.
I just hate to see the plant close. Oh, that just hurts me. End of an era. It changed my life from being depressed, bored, and like my son said, it changed my attitude. It changed me, all for the better. I really hate to see it go.
I look at cars, and I see a lot of the cars that we built.
That's Billy Haggerty, who ended up putting in 18 years at NUMMI without a vacation day. He says just the other day he saw one.
But I just seen 86, 87 Corolla pulled in right around the corner here. I was heading for the bank, and I just looked at it. I said, boy, that one's old. And I looked down, it was a Corolla. I know we built it right there. So it's still running. It's still kicking. So it feels good.
This is also NUMMI's legacy.
Think about that for a moment. It changed Rick's life. Billy took pride in his work. 2 decades after the car was produced, he could still recognize the quality of the vehicle that he put his fingers on. He went 18 years, I think is what they said, without a vacation day. That's not because they forced him not to have a vacation day, because he wanted to. He was proud of what he did. Okay, I hope that when you think about lean and its application in your workplace, you remember that lean is about so much more than inventory and processes and eliminating waste. It's about the people.